numbers, something of that sort, or there's something wrong with the website. Either way, we can't use it, so we're using a new tier list website. This was made by a viewer, so this is free for everybody to use. It was posted on Reddit. You can see the link there at the top if you want to go ahead and use this. I'll post it down in the comments as well on the video so everybody can see it. But this is our new tier list website that we'll be using. Pretty straightforward, same concept as the last one. SS is the very top tier LP, all the way down to D. You have the gods over to the side, you put them in the tier list, bada bing, bada boom, everything is good, same concepts. So, getting right into this, we're going to start right off the top looking at our Agni. Agni is a strong middle right now. He still has really good lane clear, man. He still has a strong damage output. He's still really good. He's probably looking at about the A+ range. This is still a safe character to pick. He still has the dash, which is one of the better skills for getaways for mid. You know, really strong in that aspect. Really, really strong in that aspect. Next, we have Amuzen Slab. Amuzen Slab is just not good. Even though Paradigm really wanted to pick it at the LAN, Kappa 1, 2, 3. Fun fact, if you did not know, there was a misclick. They meant to pick Plush, and they picked AMC at the LAN in the first game, which led to a loss. Who would have thought they lost with AMC? AMC, though, not very strong right now. Looking down here towards the B section. Anyway. Moving onward, we have Apwash. Apwash recently got nerfed. His ultimate on Apwash no longer slows. Apwash was one of the stronger characters in the game for the mid role with his extreme damage output, his giant areas of CC, and his relative survivability even because of his ability to heal from the passive. But with the ultimate nerf, it did hurt him a little bit, but he's actually still very strong. His damage output's still really good. As far as competitive play, I'm not 100% sure where he's going to end up, but right now I'm putting him around this, like, oh god. Can I put it in between? Can I put it in between A and A+? I gotta choose. I gotta make a decision. I'd rather have an Agni in my team than an Outplash, so I'm putting him in A tier right now. He's still strong. He's still totally viable. With the ult nerf, though, you do have to build him a little differently. If you want to get the slow off, you have to use a Gem of Isolation, something of that sort. So, whoops. Turn that music off. That way we don't have any copyright issues. Don't want any of that to happen. So, moving onward, we have Anher. Anher's strong right now. He's actually probably right in the A tier, honestly. Really straightforward character. Very strong early. Drops off towards the later part of the game. If you can hit your skill shots, you're going to get kills early because Impale's arguably the best hunter ability in the game in terms of raw damage at the start of the game, plus that it stuns, plus it's a knockback. I mean, there's so many uses for that skill. Really, really strong. Anubis, no. Anubis is not a good character. No matter how many times people play him, he will not be a good character. Yes, Lassus can play Anubis actually in ranked and do very well, but he's also Lassus. It does not count that he can do well with it in ranked. Anubis down here on this same concept, right, as the B. B's got a lot of damage. Anubis has a lot of damage. Neither of them have really good getaways. Different roles that they're fulfilling, but they're doing the same kind of thing within their role, honestly. So, unless you're the Chinese meta and your name is Knight, in which case Anubis is like SS tier as you're bopping on people at Worlds. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Ao Kuang is our pinnacle of broken, right? He's not going to instantly win you the game. He's not SS tier. He's not the, you know, end all be all. They got Ao Kuang. We effed up. We accidentally banned Aphrodite instead of Ao Kuang. No. But he will pretty much make the game a nightmare for you. His damage output's insane when you build him correctly, which is magical power, not attack speed. His scaling's super strong. His ultimate heals him. All kinds of nonsense with that hero. I love how he got a buff too. I love how he was strong. He was like here, and like how they're supposed to be getting people to A tier. That he went from here, and they're like, let's just give him health on his ultimate. Oh, why? Let's just give him health back. Let's just. Okay. All I'm saying, man. All I'm saying. Sometimes people's Bryans don't work so well. Aphrodite, fairly strong right now. She has a hard time in the solo lane because of needing. You can't really be a major on the solo lane right now. It's just too hard. You get invaded. You lose your blue. You lose your blue as Aphrodite. Now what are you gonna do, right? But she actually works okay in the mid lane. If you're comfortable with Aphrodite, you can play her in the mid lane. It's actually not so bad. You got to get the build on her. You're probably looking at wing blades and pen boots and, you know, all kind of stuff like that. But if you get the build down on her, she actually hits fairly hard, not to mention if you make it to end game, which a lot of games are going later now. She gets the heals off and stuff, which is really strong. Apollo! Apollo is a pretty good hunter. All the hunters are still good right now. None of them are usually quite as broken as they used to be because of, you know, the general hunter nerfs. But Apollo's still really strong. His level 1 is arguably the best of any hunter just because of his passive. He gets the passive off, he bop off those auto attacks like okay, he doesn't get that many, but it feels like he gets that many. You can't box him in the lane. His clear is mediocre, so you can't out clear him if you have, like say you have Anhur out clears Apollo, stuff like that, but you still can't really outbox him. Not to mention his rotations with his ultimate is still really strong. The meta's duration is still really strong. He's just not the end-all be-all ADC. Arachne, not the worst. I'd pick Arachne before I pick AMC. The problem with Arachne is she just has the hardest time getting into fights, particularly towards the later stages of the game. Her early game is still strong. Her mid game is still fine. Her late game, getting her into the team fight to get to, and then once she gets there, to not get poked out immediately and then have to use your ultimate to get out can be very difficult. You have to be a very good Arachne player. You have to build the right things. Very situationally good. She does destroy Freya, and Freya's kind of like in the meta right now, especially in Europe as far as ADCs go. So not the worst idea to pick up Arachne actually as a counter pick, but she can't get counterplayed herself, so you have to be careful. Ares. God, Ares is an interesting one. He's in not an awful place, but he needs... Does he need something? He's like in this A- to A region. He's like close to being balanced. We're going to give him A. We're going to give him balanced, mainly because he does what he's supposed to do very well, which is kill people, right? As far as supports go, his idea is, I'm going to kill you before you can kill my hunter, right? That's like his thing. Is I can kill you before you kill the hunter, that way that my hunter can't die. That's his protections. That's his peel. Big things about Ares. His chains are really hard to hit online with ping issues. I play with 100 ping all the time. It's hard to hit Ares chains. I pick Ares out of LAN for practice. You hit all the chains because your ping is just amazing. It's so good. So it can be really hard to deal with that. His clear is poor. His ultimate's super good for popping beads as well as other CC immune skills, popping ultimates. He's very vulnerable in his ultimate. He's a fairly balanced character. If you get ahead early with Ares, you're going to do great. If you get behind early, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. He's one of those characters that has a very big snowbally effect behind him, so you have to be careful with that. Artemis. Artemis isn't nearly as bad as people think she is. Is she OP? No, she's not OP. Yes, her early game is atrocious. Yes, you can gank her over and over again and get her behind. But if she makes it to X point in the game where she turns on, she's the best hunter late game. Her ultimate gives her CC immunity plus it's a stun. She has an amazing steroid on her too. She has the root capability on her 1, which also cripples. She has passive critical chance. As far as late game hunters goes, she's like the passive hunter across the board, right? She has passive CC immunity. She has passive attack speed, movement speed, crit chance. You know what I'm saying? So if you can get her to that stage, she does really good. It's just hard to get her there. Athena. Athena is one of those characters that I'm looking at picking around when I'm picking Alquen. Athena can fit in 1, 2, 3, 4 roles. Athena can legitimately jungle, solo, support, and mid lane. That's 4 out of 5 roles that a character can play is a huge pick for not only being incredibly strong, but not giving away your cards to telling your opponent where you're going to play it, which means you can counter pick it if they're like, oh, they're just going to run a support. So they pick their They pick their jungle and they pick Thor. And they're like, well, shit, now we have an Athena jungle because we just taunt him out of the spin to win every time, right? Like, boom, instantly countered. So that's a huge benefit of Athena. Not to mention, now that she doesn't have to get Hog, Blink Athena taunt is the gnarliest thing ever put in this game. Blink meta is nuts. It's nuts. And with Athena, she's loving it. She's like, love it. Awilish is fairly strong right now. Not the best character in the game, but certainly a little bit probably above average. Feather Step just, if you've ever been hit by a Feather Step at like level 3, 4, 5, man, you're like, what the? Where did all that damage come from? And it's just one of those skills that really hits hard. It's like a Thanatos Scythe, right? Like, you get hit by it and you just go, what? I just got slapped in the face. Like, it's just one of those things, man. It smacks you. It does a lot of damage. It's really good. Her ultimate's super good. As long as you have synergy with her, like a Gab, Vulcan, Hebo, doesn't even matter what you have with her. Some sort of knockup combination, Sobek's great with her. You get her that combination, she's going to be ganking lanes. She's flying all across the map. She's doing awesome stuff. She's really strong. Bacchus. Bacchus is not the best support right now. I love Bacchus. Let me throw that in here. I love Bacchus. People think I don't like Bacchus because I don't play Bacchus. That's not true. Bacchus is one of my favorite supports. He also has one of my favorite skins. The king, baby. But he sucks. And the reason why he sucks is he has no lane clear. Right? No lane clear at all. He can beat Gab in lane clear, kinda. That's like the only one he really beats. His lane clear sucks. His endgame is great. It's really hard to get him to endgame. Power boots he does well with, okay? He does well with that. He has good CC. His CC is hard to get off. You should realistically never get burp off. And the jump can be hard to land with ping, right? The jump is a skill. You have 100 ping. It's extra hard to hit the jump. I play with 100 ping all the time. It makes it fairly hard to play Bacchus because you miss your jump because of ping issues. It is a big difference. He still, his ultimate's one of the better skills in the game, though. He's still not the worst idea for a support. He does have some good matchups. Ares actually is a horrible matchup for Bacchus, fun fact. But not the worst character in the game, but certainly not a top pick that you're looking at as support. He's more towards the bottom. Bakasura, pretty much perfectly balanced right now. He's actually in a perfect spot. He doesn't get played that much anymore, and for people seem to think that means he's bad. It's not that he's bad, it's that other characters are better. There's a lot of solo laners right now that are really strong, and that makes Baka seem weaker than he is. It's just more of Baka isn't OP anymore. It used to be you picked Baka, you ultimated at level 5, whoever you were against is dead. Now it's not that way anymore. You have to play more carefully. You have to, row more, look for ganks and stuff from the solo. So you have to be a lot smarter about it. Bastet, having a hard time right now. Interesting enough that she's having a harder time. I figured the Hog nerf would actually be good for her. I'm not sure yet if it's because people just aren't playing her. Like, I don't know if it's people just aren't playing Bastet, or if it's just... I don't know what, man. But she's not getting gameplay. She's not doing well in her games. Her kitties are still good. There's no hogs to counter them anymore. Her kitties do a ton of damage. Her skills do a ton of damage. Her jungle clear is okay. The hog nerf did hurt her a lot. She needed a hog from the early game to get to her mid game when she gets her power spikes, which did hurt her a lot. But I feel like she's better than she's being played right now, but we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how it goes. But for now, A-. Bologna. Bologna is one of those characters. Yes, I call her Bologna. No, I will not call her anything other than Bologna because that's how her name is spelled. Kappa. Anyway, super strong. Even post-nerfs, this is a character that you're looking to get at the very top of your game. TSM at the LAN beat us with Bologna. That's why they won, honestly. They were first picking Bologna, and that's what got us, pretty much, was they were taking that character, and that's the character we should have been taking. In hindsight, 2020, but they played it very smart. They realized the power of her. They were giving it to Divios. Divios was doing a lot of work. Why is that? She has a slow on her shield bash. The slow is no longer 30% flat. It now starts at 15 and scales all the way up to 35%. Hammer stayed the same, still does a ton of damage. Disarm stayed the same, still 3 seconds from max rank. Ultimate duration or ultimate cooldown is now increased, so you can't use it like every 3 seconds. It's every 4 seconds. And of course, the passives on her skills are really strong. She's still super strong. She can jungle great. She can solo great. She's great. She can apparently support because EU says she can support. So apparently she can also support. So she's viable in 3 roles considering people won with Bellona support. So there you go. Khepri. So Khepri, as far as support goes, is poo-poo. I love Khepri. He's one of my favorite characters, but he is not a good support. But he's not that bad of a jungle, and he's a pretty good solo laner. I'm going to give him A-. I would like to see Khepri adjusted a little bit. I don't really know where to adjust him is the problem. I haven't thought about it in depth enough. You can't really adjust his damage numbers because his damage numbers base are already so high on his 2 particularly. Even his 1 has pretty good damage on it. His ultimate isn't bad damage. He's a very high bursty guardian. Not obviously meant for the support role at all. He's not supporty even in the least at all. You know, just not even pretend. His passive sucks. Maybe alter his passive somehow and give him like a damage-oriented passive since he's already a damage character. So that could be something to look at. I don't know 100%, but I don't think Khepri passive applies to himself. I think somebody told me that, which means his passive is really useless for the solo lane where he's the most viable right now. So, Madman Mark's making fun of me asking for Khepri buffs because he's playing Khepri solo and ranked and destroying people, but I bopped him the other day when he was on Khepri, so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, Chalk sucks. He doesn't suck. Chalk is in a weird spot right now. Chalk, early game is fine, right? He still has super easy clear. You won your 2. Congratulations, you cleared the wave, right? You did it. The problem is that the only role he's viable in right now is solo lane. And solo lane right now is a lot of farming to mid game. But Chalk's mid game is very mediocre. And his end game is poo-poo. So, when you're picking a character like Bellona for the solo lane, and you're going against a Chalk, you know, the Chalk may even win lane because he has better clear. But you're not going to lose any gold, really, if not maybe 100. And then you get to mid-game and you're getting Bellona ulted compared to you're getting Chalk ulted, and then you just beat the Chalk ult, and then Bellona slows you. And then Chalk is like, I'm going to throw an axe, and Chalk does like 3 damage, and then Bellona's like, I'm at full health, and Chalk's like, I'm at half, but I'm going to try to heal up, and then Chalk's like, I'm dead, and then Bellona's like, you're dead, and then it's like, not fair. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just, it doesn't go. Something about Chalk is just wrong. I loved the character of Chalk. I used to play him support back in Season 1. I love the character. I want to figure out how to play him support again. I can't do it because he sucks. We're going to figure it out, though, because I love that damn character. Drew moved like a jaguar. Chang'e! Chang'e is very strong right now. People are not playing Chang'e to her full potential. Chang'e has not bad lane clear. People seem to think she has really awful lane clear. You need to go double starter item on Chang'e. You grab the Soul Stone, you do the start, you grab your buffs. On the way to lane, you can buy the Vampiric Shroud. By the time about the 3rd wave gets there, you're going to have your Vampiric Shroud, and then all of a sudden your clear is really good. You're level 3, and you can almost full clear the wave. Her teamfight potential is huge with her ultimate, particularly towards the end stages of the game. You land a 3-man Chang'e ult, they all 3 have to pop beads. I mean, that's a huge win. You combine that with any other CC character, now they can't get out. Athena taunt, now boom, 3-man Athena taunt, they're dead. They can't get out. Really strong character, fairly squishy. Fairly difficult to play in terms of actual skill level. You have to be very good with using her skills. They're not like particularly hard to hit, but you have to know when to use them. She's more of a timing character than anything else. Recently did get a little bit of a buff to her bunny. Her bunny runs back faster now, so she can buy items faster now, so you never really have to leave the lane because you can constantly give yourself a potion stream, which is cool. Kronos is doing fine right now. He's pretty balanced. He can get really far behind. He does well against tanks, though. It's a pretty big tank meta, particularly over in the solo lane, which is where Kronos is thriving. He's doing very well over in the solo lane. He has to be careful early game, obviously, but anybody knows that if you get to an end game Kronos, you're not having a good time. So you get a couple kills in Kronos early, and he's going to snowball out of control way, way faster than you would like him to. So Cupid is not good. Cupid is pretty much bad. His skills are too easy to get out of. His ultimate's always been useless. You just Aegis it, you beads it, you have the agility, you sprint, you use a CC skill. There's so many things you can do to get out of Cupid ult. He's strong early because of the Heart Bomb slow. Combine him with a Creeping Curse from a support. You're looking at kills early. His endgame sucks, though. His entire kit is relatively weak. While his laning phase isn't that bad, he's not worthy of anything else. So he's stuck with the B. Also, mowing the lawn has officially started, so that's exciting. It's Mower Monday. Lawn Mower Monday. Fenrir. Fenrir is S tier. Fenrir, one of the stronger characters in the game, always has been. I think that this meta has really come towards him. He's really thriving in the current meta. Very viable in both the jungle and solo roles. I like to play him support because I can in ranked. I wouldn't really do that in a competitive game because you need the front line taking it. But he's very strong. He counters Rat still really hard. Rat's still really strong. That's a huge purpose right now with Fenrir. I wouldn't pick Fenrir, though, before I picked Alquang, Bellona, Athena, though. So, you know, it's like he's strong, but he's not quite like that tier of success. Freya. Freya is doing very well right now. I'm not sure how her showing was at the LAN, but she's hitting very hard like she always has. Very strong right now. Putting her in this S- tier. She can play multiple roles, jungle, ADC. She doesn't have, even solo lane actually, I mean Zalia plays her solo slot. She doesn't have the strongest early game. She can get away with it though because once she gets her Fatalis and Power Boots online, she has a huge spike. Not to mention she has all the movement speed, so she's hard to kill and her ultimate ends up hitting extremely hard. Very safe character. Once her ultimate comes online, you just ultimate away from any problems, you whoop away from any problems. You walk away from any problems because you have 2 movement speed items as your first 2 items. Very strong character though, very strong. Geb. Gab's an interesting one. Gab is still super strong, but I'm not picking Gab before I'm picking Athena for support, right? So, I play Geb solo in ranked. Would I play Geb solo in a competitive game? No, because I'm not the solo laner. But, he's very strong. His early game is still, you know, subpar. The thing is his mid game is incredibly strong and his end game is lights out. Probably the best of any support outside of maybe Bacchus, but very different utilities there. Bacchus being, of course, damage, Geb being some more supporty, and of course the reason why Geb's is probably it could be better end game is just because of the support nature of it. He has the ultimate, which is a huge stun. You have to knock up the shield. All that stuff makes him so strong, man. Just so strong. It's really hard. Alright. Guan Yu. Oh, God. Guan Yu is our first character we're going to put down here in the C tier, man. Guan Yu sucks. He's so bad. It makes me so sad. Guan Yu was one of my original characters that I was so good with. Guan Yu was the character that I played in the launch tournament against Cognitive Gaming in the second game that we should have won against them and moved on to one of the final rounds, but we lost, and I was like 13-1 on Guan Yu support, man, and I was like, I love you, Guan Yu, and now he sucks. I don't know how to explain it. He just sucks. Everything about him sucks. I don't know how to get into it. His skills aren't good anymore. They're not doing what they used to do. Other characters are getting better scaling, so they're doing better damage. He builds tank and he does no damage. He builds damage and he has no tank. He's just not doing well. He can't play support at all, which means you have to throw him in the solo lane or the jungle. He can't jungle because he doesn't have Hog. And then he can't solo lane because he sucks. Hades. Hades is doing fine right now. Hades pretty much doesn't lose a single solo lane matchup in terms of laning phase because you just like walk up to the wave 3. Walk up to the wave 3. You always have your 1 to get away. Not my favorite character in terms of like middle to end game helping the team. I'd rather have a different solo laner, but he's such a guaranteed win in the lane that you know you're going to have the rotations on the other support or the other solo laner that is for things like mid camps that can help snowball other characters out of control. So, you know, you can use that to your advantage. So, you can use that to your advantage. Hebo! Hebo's not super strong right now. A- on Hebo. The reason why it's A- not lower is while Hebo is super risky right now, right, he's super hard to get online just because of how squishy he is. If you do get online, the game's over. Is one of the interesting things about Hebo. He's I call him a Hail Mary character. He's like a character where you're at a LAN, it's a best of 5, you lost 2 in a row, you need momentum, right, and you need it fast. So you get Hebo, and you hope he lands a quadra ult in the first 5 minutes and gets a triple kill, and then somebody else gets the other one, and then turns on and takes the whole game away to give you momentum back going into game 4 where you don't pick him again because it's too risky. He's like that kind of character. He's the Hail Mary pass of Smite. But Hail Marys sometimes work, so Hell, you suck. Hell is bad. I'd pick Hell before I picked Guan Yu probably, but that's about it. She doesn't really work in the mid role, so you throw her in the solo lane. But she doesn't work in the solo lane because she gets invaded and doesn't get a blue buff. And she has to have the blue buff, otherwise she runs out of mana. So you have to put her back in the mid lane. So you do put her in the mid lane, but her contention of mid harpies at level 2 isn't that strong. So if you're against an Isis, you're going to get Spirit Ball, and then the Fender is going to jump on you and brutalize you, and now you're dead. And now you're held that's behind in the mid lane without a blue buff, and so the game's over. That's the problem. That's the problem with Hell. Summed up pretty simply. Hercules! Hercules is A+. He's still doing great, man. He's having a wonderful time. He loves it over there in the solo lane. He just chills out. He pops up the archers. He driving strikes forwards all the minions. He gets all the kills. He heals right on up. He's got his blue buff. He's never out of mana. He's just trudging along, having a good time. He runs into your team fight. He throws a boulder at you. He does a lot of damage. It bounces off the wall. It hits you again. And it kills you. Lot of CC. A lot of frontline. A lot of annoying, can be frustrating getting bopped on by a Hercules. Even a full tank Hercules does a lot of base damage for the first 20 minutes of the game. Not a bad character. Not a bad character. Doing well. Doing well. Hui Yi is like the pinnacle of like balance for hunters for me. Ricochet is a really hard skill shot. Can do a lot of damage, very rewarding. His mark lets you do more damage. You still have to hit your auto attacks. His jump is good, and it has the ability to knock out people if they have the mark on. His ultimate is slow, does pretty good damage. It's a better zoning technique than anything else. Really good for things like Fire, Giant, Gold, Fury. Strong character. Pretty good at all things. 1v1s aren't bad. Teamfights pretty good. Not the best endgame hunter. Not the best early game hunter. He kind of falls in this weird schmedium throughout the entire game where he's neither the best nor worst of characters. Can still destroy games, can still get destroyed. He's pretty much right at that balance point. Right at that balance point. Hunbats. While Hunbats isn't getting played at all right now, I refuse to believe that Hunbats is anything less than really stellar. That might just be dumb of me. I don't know. Maybe you guys agree. Hunbats is super strong. He still has the passive crit chance on his stuff because of this. Like 30% passive crit chance when he uses abilities. His ultimate is the best jungle ultimate you're going to get in the game for disruption. In terms of like team fights, right? He's got tons of mobility with his 1 and his 3. His overhand smash is good for clear. It does good damage. His fight at mid harpies is okay. He has the slow on the 1. He's not bad at invading. He does well with red pots early. He does fairly well in this meta. He's not getting played. I think when somebody picks him again in a pro game, and does really well, it's going to click again and people are going to go, oh, Hoonbots is good. And then you're going to see him all the time again. Isis. Isis is probably our best middle laner. She has been for quite a while. Since I started playing her way back in Season 0 against the best when he was on Dignitas and I was on Mediocrity. But nobody believed me back then when I said Isis was amazing. But it only took like a year for people to go, oh, Isis has actually got the best kit in the game. Why is that? She has amazing lane clear with her wing gust. She has a stun, a silence, a giant AoE ultimate that gives you base, like, it gives you a giant heal, right? It gives you percentage reduction damage. It does a bunch of damage. It's one of the best objective secures in the game right now, considering Hog is gone, so you can use her Isis ult to secure objectives. Her passive is actually not bad for the regen stuff. Boom. Isis is amazing. She's fairly safe, even though she doesn't have a getaway skill, because her wing gust does give her movement speed. Janice. Janice is a really annoying character that can do really well. I wouldn't pick him before Isis, but I wouldn't mind picking him other than that. Mobility around the map, obviously through the roof. That's kind of Janice's thing. Janice ultimate, super low cooldown when you build him right. His damage on his 2 is incredibly strong. His threshold is one of the best slows in the game. He has the threshold, which is both a slow and a sprint, if you will. His portal is fine for him getting away. It's also not bad for securing damage on your 2. Not the worst case scenario you're looking at there. Can you outplay Janice? Yeah, you can. I mean, you can beat Janice. We played against Janice twice in the LAN finals against Titan. I'm gonna be honest. We went against their Janice and we didn't ban it because we didn't want to go against Pretty Prime's Vulcan. I don't know if you guys ever been against that man's Vulcan, but F that forever. I'm not about that life. So we gave him Janice, which we knew was strong, but it wasn't as strong as his Vulcan, and we knew they'd pick it over Vulcan, so that was that thing. Very strong character, not the best character in the game. Kali. Kali's pretty much balanced right now. She's doing okay in this meta. She's doing fine. She's not OP. Her early game still sucks ass, right? She's still not good early. Her mid game's okay. Her late game's amazing. Kinsai's are kind of back in the game, so she's doing good there. She can afford to get the Fatalis now. She has the extra active slot since there's no Hog, so she can get like beads blink or something. She can blink on you and then stun you and then jump on you after you use your getaway skill to get away, so it's not bad. She can still fall so far behind though and has to be really careful. She has to be so careful throughout the early game. Khepri. Khepri is right about S tier. Khepri is one of those characters that's right below the level of being immediately banned, right? So Ao Kuang is really strong. Athena strong. Bellona strong. Those are 3 characters I would pick before I picked Khepri. Khepri has really strong lane dominance because of his 2 and the base damage on it being 120. His pull is strong. It can put him out of position, particularly if he misses. His 3 is very mediocre. It's a very average skill, very normal. His ultimate is really good, but it can be misused. You can use it and then not get attacked. You can use it on somebody. They start to run away. They're like, oh no, the other team doesn't kill them. It runs off. They immediately kill them. You can use it on the wrong person. You can use it on yourself instead of somebody else. Weird things can happen with it. You can use it on somebody as they die, and then they spawn on you, and there's immediately a Kraken ult on top of you, so they're dead again. His ultimate is not that OP. The best thing about Khepri is his passive. Khepri having the best support passive, honestly, in the entire game, being upwards of like a 15% HP shield just passively, because why not? It's like Geb shield on you all the time. Okay. Whatever. Love it. Love it as a support. Hate it as a player. Kumakarna. Oh my god. You are so... Can I put you down here? Is there a FU tier? No. Kuma sucks. Kuma's on this Guan Yu type level. Just Although Kumba would beat Guan Yu because you can mez him out of the Talon Assault. But Kumba has a couple problems. One, Kumba's lane clears his getaway skill. That's never good. It's never good. It's like if Agni could only clear with his dash, Agni wouldn't be A+ tier, right? So that's one problem. Second problem, he doesn't have any hard CC, right? He has these like soft, pudgy crowd controls. He has this mez, I'll mez you. And he has this, I'll root you, but you can use skills, right? This very like relaxed, you're kind of out of the fight. But not like these hard, like, you are stunned, you are silenced, you are crippled, you are disarmed. He doesn't have any of these hard CCs that you're looking for in the middle of a team fight that are going to really, really help you. And of course, his ultimate, not bad, low cooldown, high damage. Can be hard to get the damage off. It doesn't work on CC immune targets, obviously. His passive on Kumba doesn't really help you in a team fight situation comparatively to, say, a Khepri ult is always helping you because there's passive HB, essentially. So, just not the strong character. Poor laning phase, poor mid game. Pretty good late game, actually, in Kumakarna, but it's too hard to get him there when he can just pick Gab. Kukulkan! Kukulkan's going to hang out in this B tier. Kukulkan's like Hebo if Hebo ult was hard to hit, right? That's the difference between Kukulkan and Hebo. Kukulkan is Hebo with a difficult to hit ultimate that does the same damage, okay? Hebo ults you, he hits you because it's a giant wave that he can't miss. Kukulkan ults and he has like a 40% chance to hit it if you have half a brain. If you have a whole brain, he has like a 0% chance to hit it because you're going to Aegis, you're going to blink out, you're going to use an ability to get out, you're going to do anything to get out, right? Now, why does Kukulkan not stay down on C tier? You hit the Dream Kukulkan ult and 4 people and you one-shot him. Congratulations, you won the game. He is a Hail Mary character, but if you're going to pick a Hail Mary character, you might as well pick Hebo. It's a safer Hail Mary. So, there you go. Loki! S minus A plus. S minus A plus. Alright, A plus. Loki right now is just good. As much as everybody's saying it's bad, as much as everybody wants him to be bad, he's not that bad. He's really not. People thought that Heartseeker was going to be the end of Loki. As it turns out, it was the best thing that's ever happened to Loki. Why is that? So, Loki now goes Transcendence instead of Heartseeker. Okay? So Loki has Transcendence. Loki stacks Transcendence. Loki has infinite mana. Loki's always in stealth. Fantastic. That's great. Loki doesn't have the movement speed from Heartseeker. He's got pretty much the same damage from Heartseeker. Loki dies. Loki doesn't have to restack again because he didn't lose any stacks because he doesn't have Heartseeker. He has Transcendence. So all he lost was movement speed and the ability to stack a little bit earlier. What he gained was damage all the time. All the time Loki damage forever in your face. Now, is it more of a rank thing than a competitive thing? Probably. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a Loki this year and have him split push a Phoenix and have a team win because of it because he threw down his decoy and one-shot the Phoenix 40 minutes into a game. I'm just saying. I would not be surprised to see that this year. Medusa! She's one of our pinnacle ADCs right now. Medusa is incredibly versatile in her kit. She has amazing teamfight with her ultimate, and her 2 can hit multiple targets. Her 2 also is one of the better lane clear abilities for hunters. It can also simultaneously hit players while you're clearing the wave. Her Viper Shot early game is one of the highest single damaging abilities. You use your dash, which does a ton of base damage, like 120 base damage or something, like as much as Khepri 2 on her 3, which it doesn't do damage to minions, so you can't use it to clear the wave. But you use that on their hunter while you have Viper Shot charged, so you immediately get 1 free Viper Shot, plus you hit the other 2 because you're a good hunter. You just one-shot somebody with, 2 abilities and a couple auto attacks. So, she's just incredibly strong. You hit the 3-man, 4-man Dream ult in a team fight because you turn around and then you're like, Medusa! Boom! Bada bing, jabadoo, GG. Mercury! I've got friends and they're big and have swords and you suck. So, Why does Mercury suck so bad right now? Why does he suck so bad? That's a great question. I don't really know. I don't know what happened to Mercury as much as it was Heartseeker's gone, and it was the best item ever for Mercury because it gave him damage on his damage, right? So that got taken away, and that hurt him a lot. He has 0 lane clear early without Hog, so he can't really jungle anymore, right? So that hurts him a lot. Sprint got nerfed, which inadvertently hurt him again. He can't pop tier 3 sprint for the extra damage. There's all these like nerfs that weren't aimed at Mercury, but they hurt Mercury, right? Pen boots disappeared. Now he has no pen, he doesn't do as much damage. All of these weird things that weren't necessarily aimed at nerfing Mercury that just all ends up nerfing Mercury, like all at once. Like every change that came in was like, oh, by the way, this also hurt Mercury. So, what do you gotta do? Neith. Neith is still a strong hunter right now. She's about this A+ range. Probably the most dominant laning hunter, strictly because of Spirit Arrow and Weaves. You Spirit Arrow the wave, boom, it's almost cleared. You have a wave there at level 3. It's full clearing the wave at level 3. No other hunter can full clear waves at level 3. It also gives her an ability to be very aggressive in the early game phase, because if you can full clear the wave and then you have like a Sylvanas pull somebody, now you can fight them, right? Because they're out of position, you have the entire wave. They can't fight you back even if they had a better 2v2 because you have an entire wave and they have no wave. So there you go. Nemesis. So Nemesis should be ranked higher strictly on the fact that the AFK Nemesis skin has a custom voice pack. Just saying. If you haven't seen it yet, go click on Nemesis AFK skin and click the voice pack and prepare your anus. Continuing onward. Nemesis is strong right now. She's not amazing. She's not bad. Pretty okay in this meta. Mainly because it's like a tanky-ish meta. You have a Guardian in the support role, right? You have a warrior in the jungle. I mean, a warrior in the solo lane. And you can have a Guardian, Warrior, or Assassin in the jungle. So you have upwards of 3 tanky characters on one team, which is giving you a lot of ability to, to kill people, right? So, I mean, Nemesis Ultimate obviously is the counter to tanks. So that's what you're looking at, right? For the tank counter tanks. So she's very strong. Her clear's not the best, which is a problem that she's having. Her early game clear is hurt by not having Hog. But she does very good things. She's kind of like a Kali, but like less chance to get behind, right? So Kali being a tank killer as well, but Kali has a way easier chance to get behind early than Nemesis does. Nemesis gets invaded, has a better chance to fight than a Kali. So, there you go. Neja is very fine. He is very okay. Do we need to say anything else about Neja? He's fine. His ultimate does a lot of damage. It's hard to hit. Sash is alright. It can crit, which is cool. It doesn't really help your early game. He's better in the jungle than any other role, but he can kind of support and he can kind of solo lane. If a Neja gets ahead, get away from everything because he's going to get second item Deathbringer, third item Deathbringer, and then he's one-shotting you with his ultimate from 100 to 0. He's going to blink on you because everybody and their dog can get blink and then ulti you and then you're dead. But you kill a Neja early and then it's like, she's not even level 5 yet. I'm like level 7. Just got to Thanatos scythe him. Just got to scythe him just over. So, he's fine. He's fine. He's in a good spot. Nox is actually in a good spot as well. As much as people hate Nox, and as much as people say she's awful, she kind of is, but she's kind of not. So here's the deal. Nox's damage, if you've ever actually looked at it, is like, it's so... See how you can't see my hand? That's where Nox's damage is. Her damage is so good, both base and scaling. Her 2, which is her Circle of Love, has 100% scaling on a skill that does like 320 base damage or something. If you start off, so this is my build right now on Nox, okay? So you play her middle lane. You make sure you go start at the red buff, which is not really what you're wanting to do right now. You want to normally start mid on the other side, for the Paradigm start, for the AFK start. But start it on the red buff, okay? You have Vampiric Shroud, red buff, purple pot, and the rest are potions. So you have 96 magical power at level 1 with your 2, okay? And your 2 does base 90 damage, I believe, with all of your power with 100% scaling. Now your 2 has 200 damage at level 1. Level 3, it's like 300 damage. You pop your root on somebody and your 2 and you hit those things simultaneously while your jungler is there. There's no way they can get away. They don't have beads. They can't get out of the root. They can't get out of the silence. They can't even use their jump. They're dead. Dunsky, gone. 300 damage nuke to the face, 60% of their HP. Boom. Love doing it against Janices that try to portal away, but they can't portal because they're silenced. Love it. Love it. Nuwa. Nuwa's in a good spot. She's more of a utility mage, which means she isn't getting played a lot. Mid laners want, I do damage, I do big Vulcan ult and smash. I smash like a bracken, but actually do something. And that's not the Nuwa type of character. Nuwa is a support character. She can stealth the team. She can root people off of you. She can stun them off of you. She can ulti for global vision. She can body block with minions, right? She does pretty good damage with her 2-3 combo. She's very good. She's just not great, but she's a great like a focal point of balance. So Odin. Odin's fine. Odin is a super situational character, which doesn't make him necessarily bad. Doesn't make him great, but Odin is a character that you would pick situationally, right? He can work in the support role. He can work in the jungle role. I wouldn't really play him anywhere else. You could try to run him in the solo lane, but I wouldn't recommend it. Jungle or support. Why would you pick Odin? You're picking Odin to get anti-healing comps and comps that have dashes, right? So you're looking at Ra Sylvanas is a great composition for Odin. You trap Sylvanas and Ra in an ultimate. Neither of them have a way to get out. Neither of them are healing now. You can kill them both with one other person. Another thing he does well against is, say you're going against a Agni, Cabrakan, whatever, right? Xbalanque. Those 3 characters don't have dashes. Great time to pick Odin. You trap them all in the Odin cage, and now you Vulcan ult in the circle or Zeus ult, and you go bah, and you blow up everybody. Another great use of Odin. Osiris, who I think is one of the more boring characters in the game, is fairly strong. He can jungle fine. He's better in the solo lane, but he can jungle fine. His slow is insane. At level 2, he can already slow you for like 5 seconds in a row or something. He just flops the sword at you, and then he bops you with a little circle, and you were slowed for 25% or whatever. Now you're slowed for 50%, whatever it is. Very strong. Ultimate does a lot of damage. / has a lot of utility. / gets in places over walls. His 3 is really strong. It's essentially a Khepri 2 for himself. Strong character. Good lane clear because of his auto attack chain. Good 1v1 capabilities. Can build tanky and still do lots of damage because of the nature of the character. Very strong. Poseidon. Poseidon's underrated. Poseidon's a little bit of an underrated character right now. Reminds me a little bit of Chang'e. Just a character that is probably a little bit above the balance. He has... Okay, his clear is good. He can almost full clear the wave at level 2 if you use your tide properly, right? He has good movement speed because of the passive / trident. He has crazy burst damage because of the ultimate. Now, if you miss your Whirlpool Kraken combo in a team fight, you're gonna lose, right? Because now you don't have any mage damage. Now, that kind of makes him sound like a Hebo Kukulkan, but the thing is he's not out of position after his ultimate like Hebo, and it's way easier to hit Kraken than it is to hit Kukulkan, right? So he's a lot safer than those 2 characters, and he can provide help outside of that ability. His rotation game is one of his strongest things. He can clear the mid wave without even being there because of Whirlpool. He throws it down, and he can immediately leave with Trident and be ganking in the ADC lane as he's getting credit for the mid lane, and that's one of his strongest capabilities, is his ability to rotate around and look for kills outside of his lane. Ra's fine. He's a little bit below the balance point right now. He's just very okay. His heal is still really good for sustaining right now. His ultimate does damage, his one does damage, right? They do lots of damage. He's super susceptible to being ganked. There's a million counter picks to him right now. And the big thing, guys, the big thing that really killed Ra, interestingly enough, was taking Hog out of the game. Now, you may say, why the hell does this affect Ra? The reason why this affected Ra so much was, what active do people get now instead of Hog? They're getting Creeping Curse, which means you're getting teams now that have weakening curses, like 2 of them, maybe 3 of them, and you're getting them very early because you don't have to get Hog anymore. And that's really, really killing Ra, because obviously a huge part of Ra's kick is being able to heal. And so that nerf to Hog actually inadvertently nerfed Ra. Go figure. Go figure. Weird shit that happens like that, you know what I'm saying? And Blink. Now everybody's getting Blink, and he can Blink right on Ra, and he can't get away from you. I mean, that's also the way to kill Ra. You know what I'm saying? So, Rom is very strong. He's one of your top tier hunters here. He's right over here by Medusa, right? Rom is a hunter that you're thinking about picking when you're thinking about picking Medusa. He is pretty good in the laning phase. He has clears not bad. He can be fairly mana intensive early if you don't go Transcendence, and you're probably going Devo Gloves on Rom, right? His endgame's amazing because he has the steroid on his 2 plus the steroid on his 1, so he's doing 50% damage plus slowing plus 50% attack speed. His dash also gives him extra damage and can be a cripple, so he can use it defensively and offensively. And of course, his ultimate has one of the highest base damages. I think it's the highest base damage hunter skill maybe in the game if you hit all 3. It might be off. It might be and her like ultimate, but he can be a little bit harder online because of ping issues hitting the ultimate. But as you can see in a competitive LAN setting with Snoopy on Rom, he doesn't miss the ults because he has 0 ping. And then when Rom just goes and you're dead and you're dead and you're dead and I'm not dead and you're dead again. And then he gets fed and then he gets to endgame Rama, which is one of the strongest endgame characters for a hunter outside of maybe Freya and Artemis. So, boom. Ratataskar. Ratataskar is still S tier. I might have just blown somebody's mind, and some people may be like, you're stupid, this tier list now means nothing, but I promise, Ratataskar is still going to be a top pick in competitive play. So what happened to Ratataskar? His dash got nerfed. You can't do it 6 times anymore. You only can do it 3, and his ultimate has a little bit of a longer channel time, so you got better of a chance to kill him in the ultimate. He's still super viable in the solo lane. If you've ever played against Cyclone on Ratataskar, you never want to play ever again. It's just not a fun experience. You can still play him in the jungle. His ganking capabilities are insane with the ultimate. He still does tons of damage early game with the 2. The dash did not affect him getting fed. That's a big thing. A big thing about Ratataskar is your early game ganks, right? And the dash getting nerfed had 0 effect on his early game ganks because you weren't dashing 6 times early anyway because you're ganking a lane with 2 people, right? You're ganking the duo lane and you're dashing 3 times because there's 2 people, so you have 3 dashes. You go through one, you go through the other, you go through them again, you lose your dash, right? Where the damage is coming from is his 2, and his 2 didn't get nerfed, right? He's still doing all the acorn damage, so he's still getting big early, and then by the time you get to late game, you're already big, and so you don't need 6 dashes. You still dash through 3 times, you're getting your Deathbringer crits, and you crit 4 people for 800 damage. You're still doing everything you need to. Your endgame isn't just quite as mind-numbingly bash your keyboard, dash, 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 dash. You have to think about it a little bit more, but your early game is still going to destroy everything. Which is why Fenrir is one of the better picks right now as well, because Fenrir, if you pick Fenrir when Rat's open, they can't pick Rat. They pick Rat, they messed up. Because now Rat's early game is gone because Fenrir brutalizes you and you're dead on Rat because you have no HP. So, Rovin is actually, I would say, A tier right now. He actually has finally, so Rovin like started here, right? And he's been like climbing up the ladder to go somewhere. And he's finally found himself at about this A tier. He's good. He's not bad. He's a pretty good jungler. He's a pretty alright solo laner. His clear's not bad. His Prana strike, you know, little in front of him. Or Prana onslaught, whatever it's called. Does good damage. It's a good slow. His root does decent damage now. His 2 avoids all damage and CC, making it basically Chang'e Moonlit Waltz, which is fine. That's a great skill. It does actually damage with it as well. You can actually kill somebody with your avoid skill. His ultimate still sucks dick, right? So the ultimate is useless in a 1v1 situation, but endgame, if you build Robin as straight damage, I think it's 5 seconds at max, right, on Robin. So you ulti the tank, right? So you ulti the Geb, because the Geb's not going to do any damage to you. And then everybody else is doing no damage to you. So you basically have 5 free seconds to bop on the ADC, on the mage, on the assassin, right? Not bad. I mean, you're probably going to die at the end of it, but it's really not bad. It's actually okay character right now. Very okay. Scylla! Scylla's right around A tier. Early game clear sucks. Early mid Harpy fight not so strong. Level 5 ultimate, one of the best skills in the game, can be hard to hit. Get a lucky reset. Get an early reset. Get a double kill. Late game ultimate hits for 1500 health. Don't even need to do any damage to somebody. You just ultimate the hunter and you kill them. Very easy to kill. Getaway skill is very okay. You can still follow it. You can still get a Willix pulled in it. Even though you're going underground, it's still considered like a jump. You can build a team around Scylla and make her, you know, fine. You can't just like willy-nilly pick Scylla though. You gotta have a big front line for her. Also, you don't want to pick Scylla against a heavy front line, so you have to be careful of that as well. You want to pick Scylla against like squishy teams, so you can ultimately get your resets. If you're playing against an Athena jungle, a Geb's support, and a Cabrakan solo, you don't want to be playing Scylla because you're never going to get a reset because you're hitting tanky characters that built magical defense and you did no damage to them. Serqet still really strong. She's probably up here on this S- tier. Probably not getting as much play as she should be, but the character itself is very strong. Still has great mobility, great crowd control, extreme damage, particularly when crit comes online with Deathbringer. You're still looking to pick her in the jungle. Doesn't have too many hard counters. Willix is pretty good against Serqet. But other than that, very strong character, still very annoying, hard to kill, right? Very hard to kill. Sobek! Sobek's a very strong character. We're not picking Sobek before we're picking, you know, Khepri and Athena and stuff, but Sobek's good. He has his counterplays. You can put him in multiple roles, which is why I give him S- over maybe, say, S+. Sobek is okay in the solo lane. He's not as strong as he used to be. I know some people aren't liking him because he doesn't have the clear like he used to. He was a little bit dependent on Hog. But he is very strong against some characters, particularly Sylvanas. You can do very well against Sylvanas with a Sobek in competitive play. His pluck is really strong. You can build him kind of damagey. He's basically like Bacchus, if Bacchus didn't have such a bad early game, right? Because you have a really damaging ult, you have damaging abilities. It's just he's so he's got a lot of stuff, but he doesn't have the end game like oomph that characters like Geb have, right? Where you can shield somebody and save their life and then you knock them up. He's more of like I plucked somebody into you, I knocked up the other 3 people, I hope the person that I plucked is dead because now I'm in kind of trouble. But still a very strong character. Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong, I'm putting him at A+, and I'm not putting an A+ for support. Okay? So Sun Wukong's a character that used to be very strong in the support role, was getting tons of play in the support role. With the way that support has gone, with the nerf to Hog, with some other things, you're seeing Sun Wukong in the solo lane, and he's actually having a pretty good time over in the solo lane right now. He's doing pretty well over in the solo. Zalia, I believe, played him. Was it Zalia who played him in the last tournament? And played very well. Did lots of damage, had a lot of frontline, was very tanky, and still did good damage output. He's just not thriving in the support role. But over in the solo lane, he's actually having a great time. The builds are working with him. His base damage is doing fine. He's actually having a pretty fine time over there. Sylvanas is still up in this top tier here with Geb. Him, Geb, Khepri, all kind of around that same level of picking them. Khepri, Sylvanas, obviously better lane dominance than Geb. Geb, though, better late game than, say, Sylvanas. Khepri is very strong comparatively, but I haven't had a Khepri versus Sylvanas lane matchup. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go. I imagine Khepri would win the clear, but it's hard to determine because Sylvanas auto attack clear is very strong. So that could be very, very close. The only person who I could think maybe could outright clear Khepri is Ymir. But Ymir would have to wait until level 3 to get tier 2 of his carpet before he could do that. So the one problem, so the one thing you're going to see here, right, looking at our top 4 supports right now, Athena, the pinnacle of the support, Khepri, Geb, Sylvanas. There's one thing that 3 of these supports share that one doesn't, right? So 3 of them over here, we got 1 over here. Khepri's over here by himself, the other 3 over here. And the thing that Khepri lacks, and the reason why he's not the best support ever, is initiation. So if you guys haven't watched We Can Play, he does this thing called initiate. Anyway, just kidding. So they have a problem where Khepri has no oomph, right? No oomph. So Athena dashes in, taunts, boom. Geb goes in, ultimates, boom. That's your fight. Sylvanas, same thing. Blink in, ultimate, boom. Khepri blinks in and goes, "You're rooted. You're crippled. One of you." He doesn't have the oomph. He doesn't have the flex on him, you know? Very strong laning phase, good against single targets, cool res, but there is not that sense of urgency with initiation, which means you have to build a composition around Khepri to get initiation. So, just throwing that out there. Thanatos is fine. No, Thanatos is probably not as strong as it could be right now. I mean, Scythe still hits hard. The silence is good. You get the built-in pen, which is good because obviously pen boots are gone. The ultimate's good at killing tanks, you know, percentage threshold, and there's a lot of tank meta going on right now. Mid game is fine. End game sucks on Thanatos. Having a hard time getting there. Now, the problem with Thanatos, and the reason why he's not strong as he actually was in the previous patch, is with getting less snowball from kills, right? You're not getting as much gold XP from kills. It hurt Thanatos, because Thanatos' whole thing was, I kill you, I'm a level above you. Now it's like I kill you, I'm half a level above you. So you get 3 kills and you're a level and a half and above compared to being 3 levels above. So it really hurt him. Because he was, let's be honest, Thanatos is a snowball character. That's what Thanatos was. A very snowball-y based character. So, Thor. Thor is an interesting one. Thor is a character that a lot of people have very strong opinions on. Thor is a character that's very strong. So, I mean, strong opinions for a strong character. Go for it. But he's not necessarily as good as some of the other characters. So, we're putting him at S-. He's on that Serket level of jungle, that Hoonbots level, right? So, when you're looking at other potential jungles above him, Alquang, Bellona, Fenrir, Ratatoskr. All 4 of those characters I would pick for jungle before I picked Thor. Think about it. Alquang, one of the best characters in the game. Bellona, one of the best characters in the game. Fenrir, first of all, is a counter to Thor. You stun him out of the spin, right? Ratatoskr is basically Thor with better endgame, right? Because Thor kind of drops off endgame, let's be honest. He's not, you know, he still has the initiations and the stuns and stuff. He has the crowd control. But his damage isn't as much. Ratatoskr does more damage endgame, you know? Still strong, still good, but I wouldn't pick him before some of the main junglers, right? The main junglers. Tyr, it's doing alright. It's doing fine. It's not great. It's not the worst. He's like around this region-esque. We're going to put him in the balance. So pretty much the only place right now you're going to see Tyr is the solo lane, right? And that's why that was my decision making for putting him in A over A+. The thing is, he used to be very viable in the jungle. Right now, not so much so. His clear being fairly poor for jungle clear really needed the hog. Solo lane, though, having a pretty good time. Damage is okay for clear over the solo lane. Can build tanky. Does well against melee melee characters, which a lot of is happening in solo lane right now. You can fearless them with the wave on top of doing damage. You know, he's doing good stuff. Ultimate's still good. He gets his blink now. You know, thrives off of blink. He can get blink plus an extra active. That's pretty cool. He can get multiple actives. So before he had to get blink hog, now it's blink whatever. So that's good for him. Not their best. Ul, glorious Ul. Ul is a character that we're looking at in the A+ to S- region. God, he's right around here. We're going to put him in this A+ region. He's a little bit stronger than, say, Hui, most likely. He's about on that Apollo level. His endgame is not as strong as Rama Medusa, but he can kill Rama Medusa in lane. So here's the deal. Uller, very ability based, has to go Transcendence, very mana hungry. Right? Has the capability to really destroy somebody in lane. 2 combos early game, like say level 3, axe, arrow, volley, right? It's like half of somebody's health. You can do that twice in a row. The combo, you can almost bully somebody out of lane completely to the point they have to back or they'll die. His endgame is okay. His endgame lifesteal in axe form is amazing. And he can get back into fight. His damage drops off a little bit comparatively to other hunters like Rama who have these massive steroids. And his team fight isn't as good as, say, a Medusa who has a cone ultimate. But he is a character that I find has one of the stronger laning phases of any hunter. Really good clear, a lot of abilities being able to use. Can get kind of big early. Also, he is viable in the solo lane because of the blue buff, Transcendence start, lots of damage. If particularly against some of the more channely characters, like say Kabrakan. Woojer does very well against Kabrakan. Woojer does well against Loki, stuff like that. So we'll see. Vamana. I reserved a very, very special place for Vamana on this tier list. Very, very special. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Alright, so Vamana sucks the D. The massive D. Such D, dude. So the problem with Vamana is he was so dependent on attack speed from sprint, right? So his whole thing was he built attack speed, he built kin size, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He built tank and attack speed. And then he would go big baby, and he would just go bop, 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 bop. But the problem is sprint's outie, right? He can't get sprint anymore because it doesn't help him, okay? He can't afford to get fatal. Thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Leet. Very random. Anyway, continuing onward. He can't afford to get Fatalis because then he doesn't get tanky. Okay. So he has to get he gets Frostbound Hammer. It's like the opposite of Fatalis, okay? Now that he has that, well now he doesn't have room for the attacks he needed early. Before he was gonna go his hammer, his Smithy's hammer, and then maybe boots into attack speed, maybe a magic defense item, and that's your build. You have to get Frostbound Hammer then to get the damage off. You have to, but then you can't get Fatalis, and it didn't really help you in the first place. So you don't get the Frostbound Hammer, so you get the Fatalis, and now you're back in the problem in the first place, so you don't have any damage. Poor Vamana. Vulcan, he's doing fine right now. I'm gonna put him down as A- tier. Okay, if you are Pretty Prime's Vulcan, you're like up here. If you're not Pretty Prime's Vulcan, you're down here. So, shout out to Pretty Prime. Congratulations, sir. Your Vulcan is absolutely beautiful, and I applaud you for learning that character so well. Okay? As far as Vulcan goes, fine, lane clear. His ultimate's very good, actually securing objectives, but he kind of has that Kukulkan syndrome, where his ultimate is not guaranteed damage like other characters. If you look at a lot of our mages, you're looking at, you know, Isis is guaranteed damage. You're looking at Janus is fairly guaranteed damage. You shouldn't be missing that unless it's across the map, in which case it can one-shot anyway, so who cares? You know, Poseidon is essentially guaranteed. Agni is definitely guaranteed. When you have massive ultimates like mages do, and they're not these like 90+% guaranteed I'm getting my damages off, it really can hurt, especially in a team fight where, in a meta, where you have one magic damage character, right? You have a mage middle, you have a guardian support, so you throw them out, they don't count as damage, and then you have 3 physical characters is the meta right now, because you can't put a mage in the solo lane. At best, you have a Freya ADC, and you have another damage character. So if you're throwing away your magical damage, and they build all physical defense, and you miss your big magical damage, you lost the team fight, and it's just, you can't afford that. You just can't afford it, man. You just can't afford it. You can't afford it. So, moving onward, Shibaronke. He's strong right now. He's about in this A+ region. Shibaronke, very strong as a hunter. Early game is lackluster, but end game is probably the best outside of, you know, him, Artemis, Freya, some of those best late game hunters. His ultimate being global is really big for helping out in team fights that he can't reach. For those that haven't played maybe against a Shibaronke in a while, Shibaronke ultimate is incredibly disorienting. Even for just something as simple as getting mid harpies, it can secure those for you, and that's very important. One kill on Shibaronke early, the snowball has begun. So, not so bad. Strong character. Ymir is higher. Ymir is interesting right now. I'm throwing him up here at A+, for the reason that he can play 3 roles viably. Support, jungle, solo lane. All 3 of these roles he is fairly good in, okay? Now, if I was Europe, I would be putting Ymir up here because Europe loves their Ymir, right? They love their Ymir. As far as North America goes, though, Ymir, not so much favored in North America, but his solo lane capability is strong. He has very high base damage. He can build tank. He gets the levels from being in the solo lane. He works in the solo. Jungle, he can get an early wing blade and boots. He has a lot of movement speed. He thrives off of blink. His ganks are strong because he have a lot of CC and the slow. He works well in the jungle. His support is good. He has good lane clear, so he can help the ADC, like a Xbalanque, get out of the laning phase into a later stage of the game, so he does well there. The problem is he has no getaway. He can get behind very early. It's kind of like an Ares type syndrome, but not quite as squishy because he has higher base stats. But you have no getaway skill besides your wall, which you should be using aggressively for the most part anyway. And that's, you can build damage. You go pen, which can build damage, which, you don't get quite as tanky quite as early, although you have really good base stats. He's a strong character. He's a very strong character. Very strong. Just not... His endgame is poor. Geb endgame, Ymir endgame, as far as support goes, is not even close. Not even close. Not even close. Zeus. Zeus is down here in the A-. Zeus is not very strong right now. His damage is through the roof, which is awesome, but he's super squishy. His lane clear's fine, right? His lane clear's okay. His ultimate's good. This is very okay. Now, Zeus rework? Anyway. Lastly, Zhong Kui. Zhong Kui is another perfect person right at that focal point of balance. He's not OP. He's not bad. Zhong Kui's endgame with his ultimate is super, super strong. The ultimate obviously does lots of damage. You combine that with the bleed. You have the heal. You're fairly tanky with the ultimate pop. You can get a shell now. Lots of stuff that you can do. But he's not going to just like ISIS kill you at level 3, right? It's not the Zhong Kui way to kill people at level 3. Like it is the ISIS way. And he's not going to secure you an objective, really. But he is going to do a pretty good amount of damage. So, that is our tier list. As it so happens to turn out, it's pretty much a bell curve as far as like A tier onward, expanding outwards with our gods there and our standard deviation. Seems to be pretty much even, not bad actually. Did not intend to do that at all, but that's just kind of how that worked out. Ended up being actually a very pretty tier list. So that's kind of it, guys, for the tier list.